his brother, his family members can say whatever they like. It's if he gets involved, and according to this article, he's then shared it on social media, which is, implicating himself or
Yeah.
complicating matters as you'd have it. And here's Amorim's response. Amorim says, "I rate Kobbie Mainoo, but in the end, it's going to be the training, the games." So, but if you're not giving somebody the opportunity to prove themselves, how are you going to rate them? I rate. So he says he rates him, but then it's the training and the games. We understand that. We understand that. Um, Now I then looked up the I don't know if you want to comment on that before I go on.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch the, I didn't really understand the point. He's saying it's I rate him, but it's
Yeah,
all to do with how he trains and how
yeah,
he plays in a game.
yeah.
Is that
I
what you said?
suppose I suppose he's saying it boils down to how he performs in training
Yeah.
and when he's included in a fixture. I think that's what he's saying. So, well, I like him as a kid. I think he's good, but
Hmm.
we have to go by his performance or his, you know, I think that's what he's saying.
I think
Um,
that's fair enough as well. I think it's surprising how often a manager will say, when asked why he didn't start a particular player or why he took him off, and he will say, well, he's not really doing much in training. I mean, he'll be a bit more discreet than that, most
mm,
managers. But what I'm saying is, I think, as Anurin perhaps said, how
mm,
they look in training, because it's not just how they play in training, what they do, it's their attitude that comes across in training. If they're
mm,
100% and they're all, they recognise they got to work really hard to get back in the team, then he's saying he's 50% of the way there if that's the attitude. But if
mm,
someone shows a bit of a, well, you're not picking me, mate, so I'm going to not put too much into this. If that comes across,
mm,
then I can totally understand why a manager wouldn't play a particular player. So,
mm,
yeah, we're not privy to what goes on, but training is a very key part of the performance of any footballer, certainly.
mm. Yeah, and I've seen him. I've seen him being included in one or two games, and I don't know. I can't really judge the lad. I like him as a player, but I don't particularly know about his performances. But anyway, I then pulled up these stats on Kobbie Mainoo. So 12 games, in 12 games, he's had 0 goals and 1 assist.
Hmm.
So 0 goals in 12 games and 1 assist. Do we think Amorim has a point there then?
Yeah, I'm sure he does. And I think just sort of thinking again about Crystal Palace, one of the problems we've got, I said we're missing chances, particularly from
Mm,
our forwards, but
mm,
we're not really seeing the midfielders score either. I mean, going back to Mark Gay, he's scored 3 or 4 goals now this season, and he's one of the central defenders.
mm,
Um, but you do need goals from midfielders, and traditionally, if you go back at football, it's always been necessary for any team not just to have to rely on their front 2 or 3 strikers or even a lone striker. They've got to have goals coming from midfield, and
mm,
that again to illustrate that point. One of the misses we had on Sunday from another otherwise faultless performance from Adam Morton,
mm.
he missed a chance that it wasn't an easy chance, but you expect him to get it on target. And again, I think when it comes to shooting and that, his confidence isn't really there. We've not actually seen a goal from Adam Morton since he's been with us, although he's a superb midfielder, as I say, selected for England and so on. And I think a lot of people, they say they want him to score, obviously for its own sake, but
Mm,
because apparently when he was at Blackburn, when he scored, he used to do this overhead flip, a bit like someone, I think one of the Bournemouth players did the other night. And I think we don't have any player who's ever done that. So they want to see Adam, do a backwards flip and land on his feet.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but to make the point, our midfielders generally are not scoring many or really any goals at the moment. So if Kobbie Mainoo has had 12 games, 12 matches with just one assist for a midfield player, you would at least expect a few assists, like
Yeah.
Adam Walton and other midfielders. They get quite a lot of assists. But to get none, then I suppose it depends. Is he being played as a defensive midfielder who doesn't really get forward that much? I don't think he is. I tend to think of him as more of a forward-leaning midfielder. So that stat is not going to do him any favours, is it?
No.
And maybe that's where the training comes in. He's got to start to show he can convert some chances or make some chances for the forwards.
Well, yeah, I think you do have a point there, because if the stats, I mean, what besides the stats, what else is a manager got to go on? You know what I mean? So it's the stats.
Training as well, obviously. Training and
training,
stats, isn't it? Really?
Training and stats. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, training and stats. Yeah. Now, Pep Guardiola. There's a quote from Pep Guardiola. James Trafford stays with us in January. He's staying with us this season. Now, James Trafford, what do we know about him? I know he was included in the England, in Thomas Tuchel's, one of his lineups.
I think he was, yeah.
I think he was. Now, I don't really know anything about this lad, do you?
No, he played actually a couple of games early in the season. I think even when their previous goalie, whose name escapes me at the moment, while he was still there. Yeah. And he played, and I think I saw him in 2 matches, and he looked the real deal. I mean, he looked, the wall in the goal. I mean, he looked excellent. So I can really see why Pep wants to keep him, albeit as his number 2. I mean, there's number 1. I can't think of his name.
Donnarumma.
Now,
PSG.
Reputedly, he's the best goalkeeper in the world. I think his numbers sort of show that. And I watched him on Sunday at Palace, and he stopped some. He did some very good stops, as I might say, did our man Dean Henderson. But he's clearly a great goalkeeper. But